Star Trek Online has a new Muds Market ship bundle coming out, and I know what you're probably thinking, Muds Market, eesh, expensive, especially with the 14th anniversary bundle coming right around the corner. But this one does have something in it that you guys might be pretty interested in. Later today, which is January 11th, Star Trek Online is going to be releasing the Muds Market Disco Inferno bundle. Actually, correction, it's coming out on PC today. Console, you guys will be getting this in a month or two. This bundle is going to give you the chance to unlock 4 different premium ships onto your whole account, and I imagine that these 2 are going to be of the most interest to most players, because those are the Miracle Worker flight deck carriers, so the Disco Connie and the Disco D7. Additionally, you also have the option to pick up the Baul Sentry ship and the Jovian Intel Heavy Raider. Or instead of a ship, you'll also have the option to pick up 50 Master Keys, an Epic Phoenix Prize Pack, 6 Elite Captain Tokens, or 10 Ultimate Tech Upgrades. Like with pretty much every Muds bundle, you'll have the option to either pick the Choice Pack option, which will allow you to pick any 3 of these options, or you'll be able to pick up the Mega version of the bundle, which will give you every single option. The standard price for the Choice Pack will be 29,500 Zen, but this is Muds Market, you never want to buy anything at full price. But fortunately, there is going to be a 50% off initial sale for the first 2 weeks, which will be ending on the 25th. Alternatively, there is the Mega Bundle, which that'll be priced standard at 60,000 Zen, but again, will be 50% off until the 25th. Now, the really nice thing about them including the Discovery Flight Deck Carrier Ship Pack is that those ships are basically counted as the same ship, because the Constitution and the D7 version, they're virtually the same ship. They have nearly the same stats. The only difference is that one was the Federation version and one was the Klingon version. So because of that, they are going to count as one single choice. So if you choose to buy the Choice Pack, you'll be able to pick up both the Constitution and the D7 for the cost of one choice, and then be able to pick up 2 more of whichever ones you want. Now, let's do a quick review of each ship in the bundle so you guys can make an informed decision, because each one of these ships is actually rather nice in their own unique ways. Ooh, first let's get my face out of the way of the ship stats. Now, first one is the Constitution Miracle Worker Flight Deck Carrier. You guys have seen this one before on my own channel. This is the ship I like to use for my Baul Lazy Boat. It's got a 5-3 weapons layout. It's a full Miracle Worker ship, so it's going to be nice for energy weapon builds and for pet builds, because it's a flight deck carrier, so it has 2 hangar bays. It's also got a good amount of universal seating, having a lieutenant commander and a lieutenant level universal seat. Really the only downside is that lieutenant level command seat. At the lieutenant level, command really doesn't have much to offer, so that you're probably not going to get that much use out of that. But I mean, the Miracle Worker is nice though, so overall this is a really nice ship. Also, it's the Constitution class featured from Star Trek Discovery, so it's also a very pretty ship. The D7 stats are virtually identical. The only difference is that this one will include a battle cloak. Another notable difference between these 2 ships is, despite the fact that they were basically meant to be the same ship just for 2 different factions, they did give these things different consoles and starship traits. And the D7 one, this one comes with a very powerful meta starship trait for DPS builds. While you're using the Ruin of Our Enemies, every time you kill an enemy, you gain a 3% bonus damage buff to all damage for 30 seconds, which is capable of stacking up to 100 times. Additionally, with every 5th kill, you gain a buff to your recharge time for your bridge officers. The really cool thing about this starship trait is that the timer resets every time you make a kill, so it is very much possible to sustain those stacks nearly indefinitely as long as the enemies keep spawning. Now, not every TFO is going to be endlessly spawning enemies for you to keep building up those stacks, but even so, in most situations, this is going to be a very powerful starship trait. Well, depending on your build, because honestly, it's not that great for single target builds, so beam overload, surgical strikes, stuff like that, it's not going to be as powerful, but for multi-target builds that allow you to kill multiple enemies at once, so scatter volley, fire at will, torpedo builds, EPG builds even, very powerful. This is definitely something you're going to want if you are running multiple target DPS builds on multiple different characters, because that means having this unlocked on your whole account is going to be really convenient to have. Like, genuinely, the D7's trait alone makes this bundle worth it. And like I said, both the D7 and the Constitution count as one choice pack, so you get the D7, you get the Constitution along with it. So honestly, that alone also makes this a really nice value. Now, another ship that I'm very fond of in this bundle is the Baul Sentry ship. This is a really nice science ship, being a full intel ship. That's also a spearhead, so it has a 5-3 weapons layout. One downside with this one, though, is, again, a lieutenant level command seat. I don't know why we ended up getting 3 ships, both with all with lieutenant level command seats. That just seems weird to me, but there it is. You're not going to get much use out of that, but the intel seating on the ship is nice. With that intel seat, you'll be able to do a good job of creating additional anomalies for, something to trigger spore-infused anomalies, which is always good for a science, particularly an EPG build, or you'll be able to generate extra power levels with override subsystem safeties for something like a Dusai build. The Starship trait on this thing isn't particularly interesting, but the console on this thing is one of my favorites in the game, Sentry Mode. You guys have seen me use this thing before. It is a key part of my Baul anti-proton lazy boat. It's the thing where it summons in a bunch of additional sentry ships and just fires anti-proton beams all over the place. It is great fun. I love this console so much, and yeah, now you have the option to get it on a whole account unlock, so you can be incredibly lazy on as many characters as you want, which I think is very amusing. The last ship in this bundle is the Jovian Intel Heavy Raider. I imagine this one's not on a lot of people's radar just because it's an obscure Star Trek Discovery ship. I'm not super into the look of it, and yeah. But stats-wise, it's actually pretty decent, being a full Intel Heavy Raider with a secondary Miracle Worker seat. This means this thing is going to be very powerful for an energy weapon build. You'll have the option to go with surgical strikes on this thing, or you can just go with scatter volley or beam overload or whatever you want. And not only will you be able to use things like override subsystem safeties for additional power levels to buff your energy weapons, but you'll also be able to use like narrow sensor bands and mixed armament synergy to further buff your weapons with the Miracle Worker seat. The only real downside is, again, only a lieutenant level specialization seat. Though with this one being Miracle Worker, it's not quite as bad because this is still going to offer some nice benefits to your energy weapons. It's just they're not going to be as great as they could be. Because if you want to use both narrow sensor bands and mixed armament synergy, you're only going to be able to get the first level of each of those abilities. Another downside is that even though this is technically a 32nd century ship, it does not have a 32nd century cloaking device, but that is also because this isn't a Starfleet or a Federation ship. This was a civilian ship, so that's probably why it doesn't have a cloak, but it does have improved raider flanking, which is nice. The trait and console aren't particularly interesting on this one. Like the harvest mode console is kind of eh. I mean, the only cool thing about it is that it triggers a unique animation, and the Starship trait, it's too RNG based. So you never know what you're gonna get. RNG based Starship traits, they're never really that good, honestly. So with this one, the main appeal is going to be the ship stats themselves, and it's also worth noting that while these are good ship stats, at the same time, you're going to get just as good, if not a little better performance out of something like the Adamant Heavy Raider, which you can get in the C-Store. So if it were me and I just bought the choice pack and I was picking between any 3 of these, I would definitely go with the Discovery Flight Deck Carriers because that's 2 ships for 1 choice, plus with the addition of having a very powerful meta Starship trait on one of those. And I would pick up the Baul Sentry ship just because, well, y'all know how much I like the Baul Sentry ship, so of course I'm going to pick that one. And genuinely, the console on that thing is very amusing, and it's very powerful for anti-proton builds. However, I would probably pass on the Jovian Raider because, I mean, it's got decent stats on it, but I don't like the look of it, and you can get very similar performance out of the Terran Adamant Heavy Raider, which I already own because it's a C-Store ship. It's very easy to obtain, so I would probably just pick up, like, the Master Keys or something. I imagine some of you would be tempted to pick up the Epic Phoenix Prize pack. That really doesn't appeal to me because I actually have all the event ships unlocked on my account because I did the events. So there's really no point for me to pick that up, but some of you might want that to get an old event ship out of the Phoenix store. But remember, those are still going to be single character unlocks because you're not getting the ship out of the Muds bundle. You're just getting the Epic token out of the bundle. So once you spend that token, that's still going to be a single character unlock. The Elite Captain's tokens, I mean, I don't see the point in picking those up from a Muds bundle. I feel like you're better off just getting those as you need them. And the tech upgrades, I mean, ultimate tech upgrades are nice, but only for 10 of them for what this bundle costs, I wouldn't do that either. I feel like the Master Keys are going to be your best option there. So yeah, each of the 3 ship options are good options, but if I had to knock one off, it would be the Jovian, and in that case, I would pick up the Master Keys instead. So yeah, that is the Muds Disco Inferno bundle that is going live on PC later today. Again, console, you guys will probably be getting this in a month or two. There's been no date yet, but you guys know how this works at this point. Now, I imagine a lot of you probably aren't all that into this just because, well, Muds bundles are typically very expensive, and you know, a lot of people just don't find them to be that worth it, you know, for the price. And especially with the 14th anniversary bundle being right around the corner. At least with the anniversary bundles, the new ships in those are also sold as individual C-Store ships. So I imagine a lot of you are probably going to be saving your money in anticipation for the anniversary bundle. I know I will, because, you know, the anniversary bundles are typically a better value, there's more ships in them, and even then you can get the ships individually if you don't like the full bundle, and also, I'm trying to save money for computer upgrades, and I can't really be spending all my money on Stowe. But at the same time, I'm sure there are also plenty of you who are really excited for this Muds bundle because, I mean, the Ruin of Our Enemies as an account unlock alone is a very exciting thing to have because, oof, that is going to be a huge convenience for a lot of people. So, what do you guys think? You gonna pick up this bundle to get that account unlock for the Disco D7, or are you gonna be like me and wait in anticipation to see what the 14th anniversary bundle has to offer? Let me know in the comments down below, and while you're down there, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. If you'd like to further support the channel, you can hit that join button to become a member, or if you're ever shopping on the Epic Game Store, be sure to use my content creator code STU1701. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does help me out, and I do appreciate that. That is content creator code STU1701. And either way, though, thank you so much for watching. My name's Stu, and I will see you guys next time.